When you think about giants of the sky, you probably imagine sleek passenger jets or iconic military aircraft like the Raptor. But today, we're diving into the world of a different kind of giant, the C-5 Super Galaxy. It's not just an airplane, it's an absolute behemoth, a marvel of engineering that has quietly shaped the battlefield for over 50 years. If you think you know everything about military aviation, think again. Because the C-5 Super Galaxy is about to blow your mind. The origin story bigger than life. Back in the 1960s, the US Air Force had a dilemma. They needed a transport aircraft that could handle all the oversized equipment used by the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps. We're talking tanks, helicopters, artillery, things you wouldn't normally associate with the inside of an airplane. So in 1968, the Lockheed Martin C-5 Galaxy took to the skies for the first time. At that time, it was the largest aircraft in the world. Imagine that, a plane stretching nearly the length of a football field, with a wingspan so vast it could cast a shadow over your entire neighborhood. The design was revolutionary, featuring a massive cargo hold capable of fitting to M1 Abrams tanks, -1 helicopters, or even an entire C-130. Yes, you heard that right. Remove the wings, and the C-5 can fit a whole C-130 inside. It could carry up to 280,000 pounds of cargo, equivalent to 23 adult African elephants. You know, this aircraft is an engineering marvel. When it kneels for loading, it looks like it's doing a curtsy, but what it's really doing is making room for the impossible, oversized equipment that would never fit in anything else. What a terrifying thing, right guys? At first glance, it looks like a megalodon shark, a giant of the sky, containing the whole world in it. That said, but not the whole world. The features that set it apart, not just size, but ingenuity. So what makes the C-5 Super Galaxy stand out beyond its sheer size? It's all about the little things that add up to make a colossal difference. This isn't just a cargo door, it's a 6,000-pound behemoth that swings open above the cockpit, allowing for what's called drive-through loading. That's right, you can load cargo in the front and simultaneously unload in the back, thanks to the dual openings. This system can fully open in about 45 seconds, meaning you can load or unload a fleet of vehicles in record time. And let's talk about that cargo hold. It's 121 feet long, longer than the entire distance covered by the Wright brothers on their first flight. It's not just big, it's versatile, with climate control and pressurization that allow it to transport anything from tanks to delicate humanitarian supplies. During a mission in the Philippines, the C-5 delivered an entire water filtration system in response to a natural disaster. It's not just about military might, it's about logistical flexibility on a global scale. Now, here's a little known fact. The C-5 was the first transport aircraft to be designed with aerial refueling capabilities from the get-go. This wasn't some afterthought or upgrade, it was built to stay airborne indefinitely, limited only by the endurance of its crew. Think about that, this beast can theoretically stay aloft for days, ferrying supplies, troops, or even entire vehicles to the other side of the world without ever touching down. During a recent mission, a fully loaded C-5 flew non-stop from Dover Air Force Base to Turkey, covering over 5,000 miles in just under 13 hours. With terrifying speed and a giant body, this is the largest plane in the world, and it is as maneuverable as other fighter planes. When it takes off, you imagine a city flying in the air. It sounds crazy, but it's true. One of the unique features that sets the C-5 apart is its kneeling system, which allows the cargo hold floor to be lowered to make it easier to load heavy equipment into the aircraft. This reduces the ramp angle, making loading larger vehicles easier. Coupled with two large entrances in both the nose and tail, the C-5 offers through loading, which saves time and optimizes the transportation process. A legacy of adaptability, more than just cargo. Over the years, the C-5 has evolved. The newer C-5M Super Galaxy model features upgraded engines that can generate more than 50,000 pounds of thrust each. That's enough power to get this nearly 840,000-pound giant up and moving quickly. Pilots often joke that for such a heavy aircraft, it flies light. It can hit cruising speeds of up to 593 miles per hour and take off from runways shorter than you'd expect for an aircraft its size. But it's not just the engines or the aerodynamic improvements that make the Super Galaxy special. The C-5 features an advanced landing gear system with 28 wheels, designed not just for traditional airstrips, but for more unconventional surfaces like grass or even packed dirt. The landing gear's ability to kneel also means it can adjust the height of the cargo hold, making it easier to load heavy vehicles without a steep ramp angle. For a plane this massive to be able to operate in less than ideal conditions, that's a game changer. And here's a fun fact. In 1974, a C-5 was used to drop an intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM into the Pacific Ocean. The missile was released mid-flight, then ignited its rockets to ascend to the upper atmosphere. It's the kind of James Bond-level stunt you wouldn't believe if you didn't know it actually happened. In addition to its cargo transport mission, the C-5 can also do everything. If in an emergency situation, the C-5 has to be used to drop bombs, what do you think will happen? With its huge size, each time the C-5 drops a bomb, it can destroy an entire city, even a small country, wiping out everything as it flies over. But this is just speculation. If this happens, it will cost a lot of dollars. How much do you think it will cost to fill the entire C-5 with bombs? The giants of the sky, rivals and comparisons. Of course, the C-5 Super Galaxy isn't alone in the world of heavy transport aircraft. Its closest rival is the Antonov An-124, a Ukrainian-built aircraft known for its massive cargo capacity. While the An-124 can carry a heavier payload, it lacks the same aerodynamic efficiency and advanced loading features as the C-5. The C-5's visor nose and kneeling gear give it a unique edge when it comes to rapid deployment in combat zones or during humanitarian missions. Why? Even newer aircraft like the Airbus Beluga and Boeing Dreamlifter, while impressive in their own right, were built for specialized tasks like transporting aircraft parts. They don't offer the same military utility or versatility as the C-5, which can carry everything from an M1 Abrams tank to a NASA satellite. So when compared with other competitors, the C-5 stands out, not only because of its size, but also its mobility. Although it is big, its mobility is also amazing. You often think that anything big will be slow, but you are wrong when you look at this C-5. It is completely different from what you think. The unsung hero. Why the C-5 matters more than ever. While aircraft like the F-35 and B-2 get all the glory, the truth is that without the C-5, many US military operations would be stuck at square one. It's the quiet workhorse that makes the flashier missions possible. When disaster strikes, the C-5 is often the first to bring relief supplies and equipment. In times of war, it's the backbone of military logistics, ensuring that troops have the supplies they need to carry out their missions. The C-5 Super Galaxy doesn't get the recognition it deserves. It's not just an aircraft. It's a logistical powerhouse that has been quietly redefining what's possible in military transport for over half a century. The fact that it's still in operation, with plans to continue flying well into the 2040s, speaks volumes about its design and versatility. It's not just the biggest, in many ways, it's the best. I think in the future, America will have improvements in its technology and flexibility, making it more formidable and worthy of the title of the world's largest and most versatile machine. So the next time you see one of these giants in the sky, remember, it's not just carrying cargo. It's carrying the weight of history, the future of military logistics, and maybe even the fate of a mission halfway across the world. Subscribe for more fascinating stories from the world of aviation.